Hello Virgo, it's Keegan. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to start shuffling the cards and putting them in place while I talk to you guys a little bit at the beginning. I just want to explain the best way to utilize this reading. And also at the very front, I just want to give a disclaimer. Some of these readings have been fairly intense. So if you are in an emotionally vulnerable place or you're not in a space of being able to hear some hard truth or potentially bad news around a situation, you might want to save this until you're in a better space. Not all of them have been really intense, but a lot of them, majority of them have been fairly intense. So I'm just trying to give a disclaimer in some of these later readings that I'm doing as I'm wrapping up this series. As you can see, we are focusing on the other person. I don't typically do this on my channel. I don't usually focus in on the other person. I try to make my readings be based as much as possible about the person that is listening to me, because I feel like that allows you to get information that you can actually work on yourself. When you're getting insight and information into another person, it really limits your ability to do anything about it other than just, have that information. But I did feel very drawn and compelled to do this series for some reason, so I'm giving it a shot. And I'm asking people to give feedback in the comments about whether they liked this style of reading or not, because I want to know how it's received from people. You can use this reading in several different ways, and I want to talk about that as I'm placing the cards. So this other person, if you're in a relationship with someone and you're wanting to get insight into them, then that can be the person that you are thinking about. If you are in a relationship and you are contemplating leaving that relationship for someone else, that could be the other person. If you're single, meaning you don't have anyone that you are interested in, or if you're single and you have your mind on someone, there is someone you're interested in, then that can be your person. But if you're single and you don't have anyone that you're interested in, you can still watch this reading. It would just be from the point of view of who's coming towards you, who's going to be next approaching you in terms of a potential romantic relationship. I think we're good here. I do want to point out here, I have my Oracle deck. At the end of the reading, I will pull some guidance cards for you around this person and this relationship and connection to give you a little bit more insight at the end. Last thing I want to say, I'm going to go ahead and turn this overlay off. So we have the cards in place. The last thing that I want to say is if you're a Virgo and you've clicked on this, you can watch this as the other person for insight to the other person. If you know the person's sun sign, so for example, if you're a Virgo and you're interested in a Capricorn, then you can go watch the Capricorn reading or whatever the sign is and get additional insight or information about the person that you're thinking about here. So I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover before getting into the actual reading. Okay, hopefully this is going to be a good one. I'm sending good positive energy to you, Virgo. Let's see. I'm going to start here with these two cards. This is who they are and how they act. I want to start here because it has been giving me insight into whether this person is acting differently than who they truly are, if they're hiding who they truly are in some way, if there's any sort of discrepancy, or whether they're being upfront about who they truly are and whether these things match. So we're going to start with who this person truly is, insight into that for them. So we have the Eight of Swords here coming out reversed, which is a tricky card. I will just say that. And then we have the Six of Cups, which has come out upright. I'm going to start with this. We'll start with the positive, okay? So the Six of Cups represents someone who, there's a lot of romance that I feel from this card. This would be a very romantic person. It's someone who's very nostalgic. This could be someone that really cherishes their past and where they've come from. What I get from this is this person is someone that the experiences that they've had in the life that they've led and the people that have been in their life really have shaped who they are as a person, is what I mostly get from this. Now, this Eight of Swords is a little bit tricky to me because there's something about this person that feels like they're being limited or held back in some way from being who they truly are. There's something that is blocking their ability to express that. It's a very heavy energy. I think it is tied into that Six of Cups, that connection to the past. So there's something here with this person being at odds of really truly embracing who they truly are, and having a fear or a worry about how that will be perceived from people who have known them historically, the people that really matter to them. So, offhand with this, one of the most obvious situations, and I'm not saying this is what it is. For some of you, it might be, but this is just a really obvious way of explaining what I'm getting energetically. This could be someone who is, someone who's gay and coming out, right? So they have a lot of really true, honest emotions about the people in their lives, their friends and family who have built them and made them into who they are. But there's some aspect of them that's being hidden from those people, and there's a fear around really fully allowing themselves to express who they truly are. Now, that could be whatever is specific to this person. I'm not saying that this person is closeted, but it was an easy way for me to give you an example of what the energy is. This could be someone who, doesn't want to get married, someone who doesn't want to have kids. This could be someone who wants to get a divorce, right? There's lots of things that fit into that energy, but who this person is a little bit tricky for them because there's some aspect of who they are that they're keeping secret. And it's bothering them because they're keeping it secret from people that they really want to know, and they have a concern that those people might not understand or might not accept it. Okay, how's this person acting though? Well, I think this confirms what we're talking about. So you have the Tower, which has come out reversed here, and this is really again about having some fear, fighting against something that needs to come out. There potentially being a little bit of oppressive energy, which I do think is connected to the connections of people in the past and wanting to not lose those connections. And then you have the Sun card, which has come out reversed. And I do want to just say here, the Sun card is the most positive card in the deck. So even when it's reversed, for me as a reader, it just means there's going to be a bit of a struggle and a delay. Some sort of time needs to pass before you get the benefits and the positivity of the Sun card. During that time, there can be a bit of, a depression or a bit of anxious energy. But the Sun card represents that whatever is going on here ultimately will have a positive outcome. And so I think for this person, even though they are realizing that there's something they need to deal with, there's something they need to confront and be open about and reveal about themselves, they are holding back on it. There is a delay, but I think that they ultimately either understand that it will be fine, or they will ultimately find the ability to do that regardless of what might come as a consequence. It's very important to them that they're able to be who they are and make the decision that they need to make. That's very important to them. So far, good, because that shows integrity and it shows genuineness and it shows that they're willing to stand their ground and do what they need to do to be authentic in who they are. Let's see what's on this person's mind. I think we have two cards here. So we have the Three of Swords, which is upright, and then you have the Two of Pentacles, which is reversed. I'm going to start with this Two of Pentacles. This is just more of that struggling, and their mind is very torn between committing to the thing that they know they need to commit to, but also being very overwhelmed by the potential of the loss that might happen if they do that. This comes with it in terms of their mind here, a lot of potential pain and suffering. I will say the Three of Swords, when it's upright for me, is my divorce card. So this could be a situation where someone is realizing that they want a divorce or they need a divorce. And again, I want to say here, I don't know what perspective you are looking at this reading. So for some of you, you could be in a relationship with someone and wondering if they are contemplating divorce. Which would mean you would be the person that would be impacted by that divorce. You could be someone who is looking to be with someone who's currently married and hoping that they will divorce, right? So you're going to have to figure out what makes sense for you based on the person that you're thinking about. But I do just want to mention that. Again, there's a conflict here between what they feel is expected of them and what they know they need to do, okay? That's what's weighing heavily on their mind. Hey there, it's Keaghan, and I am jumping in here in the middle of the reading just to let you know that I've decided to offer a special on readings during the month of October 2020 only. I'm going to have limited spaces for this. After doing these readings, I decided that I feel like a lot of you are going to want to get more information or follow up on these readings. And I know that the world is weird and money is tight. And so I wanted to try to come up with a way that I could still offer personal readings and have them be affordable, so that if you do have more questions or if you want to explore this a little bit more deeply with me in a personal reading, I might be able to make that happen. So as you can see on the screen, I'm offering 4 different levels. Is basically $1 a minute for a reading. You can do a 20-minute, 30-minute, 45, or 60-minute reading for me. If you're interested in this, you should send me an email, keaghantarot@gmail.com. You can see how my name is spelled there, so keaghantarot@gmail.com. Let me know which of the readings you want, and I'll send you an invoice, and then that will confirm your slot. And again, there will be limited spaces, so if you're interested in this, let me know as soon as possible. I will be posting all of these readings all at the same time, so everyone gets a fair shot at claiming their seat. And if I do run out of spaces, I will let people know that if I still get emails beyond what I have capacity to do during the month of October. I'm going to send you right back into the reading now. In their heart, I put 3 cards down here. So you have the King of Cups, the King of Wands. Okay. And then you have the 7 of Pentacles, which is reversed. We'll talk about this one first. The 7 of Pentacles, when it's reversed, is a feeling of wondering if you're giving up on something too soon or too quickly. These 2 cards coming out together immediately made me feel, even though they're both king cards, right? The King of Cups and the King of Wands. Don't get hung up on the gender. If you're watching this and the other person is male, you can think of this as a male person. If it's a female person, you can still think of that person. The genders don't really matter that much in terms of the cards for general readings. But what I immediately got from this is a sense of an obligation as a spouse and a parent. And this feeling of wondering if they're giving up on that too soon. Very much, I feel like this is pointing towards a situation in which someone is contemplating leaving a marriage, leaving a family. Again, depending on where you fit into that, this may or may not be good news, right? So this is why doing general readings can be a little bit challenging for a tarot reader, because if you're the person who's married to this person, this might be very bad news. And if you're someone who's hoping that someone will leave a marriage to be with you, then this could potentially make you happy. So I'm just going to tell you, this person is contemplating it. They're really troubled by it in their mind. They're weighing those options. It's showing up in who they are. There's also this reluctance in terms of how they're acting. And then in their heart, there's also this conflict of what really feels very strongly like a sense of obligation to family, and wondering if they should stick around or whether it is truly best to leave this. And it's never an easy situation when we're in a relationship, especially in a marriage, if there's a family that's built, if there are kids involved. It's never an easy situation to know when it's best to really walk away from that, because it's not something that can make people within that connection happy. I don't think that it's ever a good idea to stay with someone out of a sense of obligation to them. It's always best if you can end that connection and allow both people to go and find better connections, and hopefully be able to sustain a connection and a friendship with each other, right? So, but very clear here from the cards that we've seen so far that this person is really, they are very troubled, and this is not an easy decision for them. This is something that they're really struggling with, both mentally and emotionally. So I do just want to say that, and I guess like in terms of their defense, regardless of what decision they make, it's something that's very hard for them. It's a very challenging decision for them to make. Let's see what's going on in the future. I put 1 card down here. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which has come out reversed. Okay, so in terms of this person's future, the Wheel of Fortune doesn't necessarily mean it's all going to be bad, but it does mean it's going to be rough. Okay, life is going to feel a little bit out of control in one way or another. There feels like there's a lot here that's associated with karmic debt, life cycles, repeating life cycles that need to be closed out. There's a lot that this person will be dealing with, and I mean that's been clear from the beginning here. But in the future, in the near future, so let's say 3 to 6 months, it's still going to be a lot of this turmoil. So if you're looking for some sort of resolution from this particular situation immediately, I don't see that happening. I think that it's going to take a little bit of time for this person to really decide what they want. what decision they've made. Because again, what I'm getting from this is that both options feel potentially right and both options feel potentially wrong. Both options matter. You know, it's not that this is a situation where this again, I'm just gonna say, like, it's not easy for this person to decide what they want to do. They're really struggling with it, and that will continue. Secrets. What secrets does this person have here? Okay, so we have the Ten of Pentacles coming out here. It's upright. We're going to talk about that card second, because I want to just briefly touch on this. We have the Eight of Wands, which has come out reversed. And, you know, this is very interesting to me, because this card really talks about being uncertain and being frustrated and having issues communicating what it is that you want or what it is that you need, what it is that you feel. Okay. It's also a card that represents things not happening quickly, things not, you know, things taking time. They're being delayed and frustration. So it's possible that this person is making it seem like they're closer to making a decision than they actually are. They're not very close to making a decision. This card is very interesting to me in terms of secret. Okay, so the Ten of Pentacles is really about, you know, a very happy, stable, settled home life. There are other meanings to this card that, you know, are more of the subtle meanings. If you know, do tarot, this card can represent things like, you know, the legacy of your life. It can represent someone who's nearing retirement or is getting some sort of an inheritance. I think for the majority of you, this might mean that in their heart of hearts, this person does know what's the best choice, and they're just needing to go through this process to allow themselves to admit it. Okay, and they could be making it seem like, no, I'm going to make a decision soon, but they're not. I think for most of you, that's what this means. For some of you, this could be a situation in which someone is trying to hide money. Okay. And again, I think this is for a small amount of you, but I need to say it. It could be that someone does have money either from like a retirement fund or some sort of inheritance that you're not aware of, and they're trying to hide that before they allow themselves to make a decision. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Their plan. What is this person's plan? So we have the page of, the Knight of Wands, which has come out reversed here. We'll talk about that last, because I got some weird energy there. I want to focus on this first. So again, we're talking about the person's plan. We have the Moon card, which has come out up right here, and this is not bad. I feel like this person's really trying to trust their gut on this. They're really trying to listen to their intuition. I do feel like they're realizing that it's up to them. It's up to them to make the decision, to make the changes. They realize that responsibility. I think that they are also, there's an energy with this card that feels like this person's really trying to look at all possible angles. They're trying to look at, you know, if they see something that they feel is an issue, or let's say this person's making like a pro and cons list, right? So they make a list of pros and a list of cons. So then they go back and they look at that pro and they even analyze that even more. They break it out. They're really looking at all the fine details, trying to make certain that the decision they think that is best for them is. But I do feel like they know internally what they're going to do, but they just have to go through this whole process and take the time they need so that they feel absolute about it. Okay. During that time, though, let's talk about this. So the Knight of Wands, if it's reversed, is I don't necessarily really love this energy. So the Knight of Wands reversed is about being very impulsive. It's about you know, really kind of like being a player. It can represent someone who's just, you know, in it for sex. There's a lot of very intense, impulsive energy associated with this card. It can represent there being arguments, lots of anger. So for this to come out in terms of the person's plan, I will say I just have to, have to make this clear, right? I've started at the beginning saying this person knows there's something that they need to come clean about, but they are reluctant to do it. Here I'm saying I feel like they know what's best for them, but they're keeping it secret, right? There's been lots of places here where I feel like this person knows. So this could represent a place where ultimately they know whether they're going to stay in the marriage or whether they're going to leave, but they're not being open about that. And so someone in this situation could potentially be being led on, being deceived in some way. Okay. So, and they are aware of that. It's like they don't want to lose either option until they make it clear which option they want to lose. That's the best way to explain that. What's this person's goal? We have strength coming out reversed here. So it's a little bit tricky when I do spreads this way because, strength when it's reversed is really about, not having confidence, not having self-control, really having to deal with, facing a lot of fears. But because this is in the place of their goal, I think it means they want to be able to deal with things like sabotaging themselves, being in a place where they have historically, I feel, made decisions based on a place of fear and not being confident in going after what it is that they want. I think this person also realizes that they have a bit of self-control issues, and they're trying to figure out how to be better at those things. And again, going back to the very beginning, there's a certain level of pride and ego that's getting in this person's way that they've become aware of. Again, in the situation, you'll understand if this is the person you're dealing with, what your specific situation is with this person. But there is a level here of really having a clear understanding inside themselves what it is they need to do. And the reason they're not doing it yet is because of the conflict of disappointing other people, having it rock their image, how they're perceived, potentially losing people that they care about. But they know what it is they want to do and what they think is the best decision. And I think those things are aligned. The reason that it's delayed and they're not doing it right now is because they're not quite clear what the consequences, what the fallout might be. And I think this the Son of Wands here is kind of about them trying to minimize and mitigate the amount of fallout and damage that occurs. Okay, let's get some guidance cards here for you, Virgo. I hope that, again, I don't know. I think some of you are very disappointed and some of you might be hopeful. Again, it's because, I think I'm reading for a couple of different groups here. But we have a guidance card that came out, so we're going to see what this is, and we'll wrap this reading up. I do want to ask that you go into the comments just to give feedback about this. Let me know if this resonated, because this is something new to the channel that I'm doing, and I just want to get feedback from you guys. But Oracle card coming out here. Well, okay. I think this works for both groups. I really do love this card. Let's see if you can see it. So it says, "Thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. Thank you for expanding my perception so that I can see what is of the highest good." And I do think that this is coming through just to say to you, regardless of where you stand with this person, regardless of who you are in this right, where you are, don't let fear really control you here, and understand that whatever happens, however this plays out, ultimately, the universe wants to make sure that you're okay, and things are happening for a purpose. There's a reason behind how they are happening and how they're manifesting for you. And holding on to your own desire, not only for your own highest good, but for the highest good of everyone that's involved in this, however that might be. Ultimately, taking a step back from it and saying, you know what, really, honestly, truly, the only thing that I want is for everyone to be able to be happy. And if people can't be happy together, then I want them to be able to find happiness wherever that might be. Okay, so Virgo, I'm sending you guys lots of love and support, and I hope that this works out however it's supposed to. Okay, I'll be back soon with more readings for you guys, And yeah, I'm sending lots of love. I feel lots of emotion, and I always hate ending the readings where I feel lots of emotions. But you guys can go to the comments, and I'll comment back to you. Okay, bye.